Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about Revenant Reborn and how you can start to absolutely abuse him to dominate your games. His kit is super strong once you start to actually understand it, so we're going to be breaking it down today. But just quickly, if you guys are here, it's clear you're looking to take your Apex skill to the next level, so you definitely need to go and check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there are top level coaches who have been Predator, they've been to ALGS finals, they've played against the best of the best, they're making the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you could possibly be. We have legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, and much more, so no matter what you struggle with or want to grow as a player, we have solutions for you. So click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today. But okay, let's jump into things now, and the first thing we got to talk about obviously is Revenant's passive, and he does actually have two passives because it is broken into two separate parts, and both of them are equally as good. Now the first part is Revenant's old passive actually, where he was able to just crouch walk faster, and he's also able to climb a lot higher than all the other legends. The crouch walking can be useful in some certain situations, especially if you are trying to be a little bit quieter, but the really strong part about the passive is his ability to climb a lot higher and just stick to walls like glue. You can take some really aggressive off angles and take some spots that a lot of people are not expecting you to take. If you take a look at this game here, I am playing on Kings Canyon and we are in containment. Now normally people can only really get to the bins that this spot has. You can't really get any higher unless you're playing somebody like Valkyrie or even Pathfinder. But Revenant is actually able to combo his tactical and his passive. You can launch yourself onto the banners, climb all the way up, and get onto the top of this little radio tower. This gives you such a good high ground vantage point where you're able to look down on a bunch of people. And once my team actually gets third partied, I'm able to take this spot, look around, actually beam somebody, get a lot of damage on them, my teammate's able to finish them off, and we are actually able to fend this third party off without actually being in a lot of trouble. As Revenant, you always need to be looking around for stuff that you can climb. You need to be looking to take advantage of this passive so that other people either can't get to you or have to burn utility to get to you. If you can make a team burn utility in order to actually push you, that is a massive advantage on your point because now they don't have that anymore. Another good example of this does actually come a little bit later in the same game. My team is fighting in runoff, we get pushed by a third party, and I'm really low on light ammo. I don't really have anything to go into the medium or long range fights, I only have my Mastiff. So what I want to do is bait the other team to get a little bit closer to me. They have weapons that can go medium and long range. I don't want to put myself into a position where I have to fight that. So I use Revenant's passive to climb up onto the high ground and make them push me. Once they get a little bit overconfident, the Horizon has to use her tactical in order to actually push up onto me. But I have just forced that Horizon to use the gravity lift, and that is a big ticket item in a lot of fights, and she probably didn't want to use it that early. But this then allows me to also play inside her tactical, and I'm gonna be honest here, I did whiff quite a few shots. There's a good reason as to why I don't play Horizon, and it's basically because I turn into Helen Keller when I'm in a gravity lift. But even while I'm inside this gravity lift fighting with this team, I don't take an overwhelming amount of damage. I do take some and I almost lose my shield, but I'm also returning a ton of damage and my teammates are able to then push up and also do a bunch of damage, and we are able to wipe this team extremely easily because they're wasting so much utility trying to kill me when they just can't. So you can use your passive to force out a lot of stuff from enemy teams and then even play around that because they're not going to have it anymore. This passive gives you so many advantages in fights once you actually start to use it. Now that's the first part of the passive covered, but the second part of the passive is he does highlight enemies that are below 40 health, and if he's the one that gets them below that threshold, then he highlights them for the whole team. Now this is strong in its own right because highlighting enemies and being able to wall hack them is very good. You can see where they're going to be hiding, you can see if they're looking to re-peek you. There's a lot of really good applications to this, but the best part of it is if you highlight it for the entire team, they know exactly who you are shooting. A lot of people don't pay attention to the kill feed, they don't see exactly which legend you had cracked, or maybe you're also solo queuing and you're not giving callouts. This gives so much information just passively because now you're allowing your team to get the same amount of information that you have without saying anything. As soon as you get them below that threshold, they're getting highlighted, your team can see that, it clicks into their head, hey, that person's low, let's focus them out. But this also does start to bounce into both your tactical and your ultimate, so let's get into those next. The Revenant's tactical Shadow Pounce does have a lot of different uses in and of itself because it's a really strong movement technique. If you want to use it for a really long jump, you can charge it up. If you want to use it for a short jump, you just tap it. If you're a mouse and keyboard player, you can actually tap strafe out of this. If you're on an Octane jump pad, you can change the direction that you're going on the jump pad. It has a lot of really cool uses. But my favorite, and one that a lot more people need to start doing, is to combo this with your ultimate. ultimate, because your ultimate on any knockdown while it's active does reset the cooldown of both the shield involved with it and also the cooldown on Shadow Pounce. So when you get somebody really low, you dip them below that 40 HP threshold to activate your passive. You know exactly where they're going to be playing. You can then activate your ultimate and then start to charge up Shadow Pounce. Once you see exactly where they're going to be playing, you jump right to them, knock them, get the reset on both your shield and Shadow Pounce, then you can just relocate instantly in the fight. And this combo can actually bail you out of a lot of different situations. If you take a look at this fight, for example, that I had, this is in Relic or Skull Town, whatever you call it, on Kings Canyon. And this is a fight that I probably should have died in. I go and I push the building because I'm getting a lot of audio cues from inside because there's catalyst spikes on the ground. So I assume that they are playing inside with the catalyst. Turns out that they were actually on the back side of the building, and there's also a team playing up on top of the skull. As soon as I push around to the backside of the building, I am able to kill both the catalyst and the Pathfinder, getting me the reset both times on my armor on my ultimate, giving me 75 shield effectively twice. The team on top of the skull changes their attention from the catalyst to me and starts shooting me, but because I'm getting the reset of the ultimate twice, they aren't able to do enough damage to me, and while they are reloading, I'm able to use Shadow Pounce to get out safely. If I was playing any other character other than Revenant right there, I probably would have died. And honestly, even though I was playing Revenant, I should have died. I was heavily mispositioned. But even if you don't have the best positioning, you can see that this combo can bail you out of a lot of different situations. If you track them with your passive, jump in, get the knock, jump back out, you just turn the fight from a 3v3 to a 3v2, and you got out essentially for free, because if they're doing damage to you, they're probably really only going to be damaging your ultimate shield and not your shield. You can do a lot of tricky things with those types of situations. And speaking about positioning, we probably should cover where you should be positioning fights as Rev Reborn, because even if you played the old Revenant, his role has changed with the new kit. Revenant is now an aggressive off-angling secondary fragger. What that means is he shouldn't really be playing with his team in fights in most circumstances. Revenant really wants to take aggressive off angles, use his passive to track people down, jump in, kill them, get the reset on the ultimate, jump back out. That is where Rev is going to be shining in the meta. A lot of people that I see in games right now are using Revenant to be way too close to their team and only really using Shadow Pounce as a movement technique to either close ground or escape. But once you start to use Shadow Pounce in fights to start getting off angles, downing some people, getting resets, stuff like that, you'll see that you're actually going to be able to win a lot more fights because people hate dealing with crossfires. Once you start to be able to pin teams down because of how many angles you're shooting at them from, you'll start to see that fights are a lot more snowbally in your favor. There's a reason that a lot of high tier players take a lot of different angles in fights, because if you and two other people are looking at the exact same thing, you're probably going to be tunnel visioning, you're going to miss some stuff, you're not actually going to be able to get the angles that you need, and you might actually end up losing the fight because of that. So when you're playing Revenant, you should be looking to take some off angles. Now that will change fight to fight, because sometimes you might have to take care of your support, sometimes you don't, but that is a very, very in-depth video that is going to have to be covered at another time, or maybe on the GameLeap website. But this is where I'm curious, what do you guys think of Revenant Reborn so far? Are you loving him? Are you hating him? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thanks all for watching. Once again, amazing game, and I'll see you guys in the next one.